I'm Lord Spankworthy and this is Jump Scare Counter, the show where we watch all the jump scares in a movie and tell you where and when they are so you don't have to suffer and get scared. If you hate jump scares, this is the show for you. Today we are watching Drag Me to Hell. But first, according to YouTube statistics, only a small percentage of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed. If you like this video, consider subscribing. It's absolutely free and you can always unsubscribe later. Enjoy the video. The movie starts in Pasadena, California in 1969. Nice. There's a Mexican couple whose son is ill and he's brought to a Mexican exorcist. And 2 minutes 7 seconds in, boom, we get the first jump scare with the door bursting open. And before we know it, little Juan is dragged to hell by another jump scare. 3 minutes in and we already have 2 jump scares. Ladies and gentlemen, we're off. Roll titles. Meet Christine Brown. She's a bank loan officer fighting for a promotion. She likes affirmations and cake. She's dating Justin Long in this movie, and we all know how great an actor Justin Long is. But what she doesn't like is her colleague, who's kind of a dick and is also gunning for the same promotion that she wants. And he's a real brown noser. Like, he's kissing so much ass, his name should be Rimjob. So under pressure to be managerial and tough, Christine tells an old gypsy lady that her house just has to be seized by the bank. I mean, forget about jump scares at this point. The real scary thing in this movie is the gross close-ups. And I'm serious, I saw more disgusting stained teeth in the first 15 minutes of this movie than I ever wanted to in my life. Anyway, faced with imminent homelessness, this lady starts begging and eventually starts blaming Christine for her problems. I mean, shit lady, talk about gaslighting. Christine's like, fuck that, and as the gypsy lady is getting dragged away by security, when boom, we get the next jump scare at 15 minutes 27 seconds. 3 minutes later, we have the stupidest jump scare I've seen in not just this movie but in any movie, courtesy of a handkerchief. And 30 seconds later, the crazy old lady comes back again for another jump scare. Guys, this movie is going nuts. There's already 4 jump scares and we're not even 5 minutes in. And again, the crazy old lady just wants to suck some face. Move on, woman. Find a new house. Eventually, she grabs Christine and does the scariest thing in the whole movie. She breathes on a button and whispers, Lamia. Yeah, she whispers Lamia and boom shaka, Christine is cursed. How does she confirm this? Of course, she goes to a psychic who's played by one of my favorite actors from Inception, Dilip Rao. Even in this horrible movie, he's done a really good job and he tells Christine that she's been cursed, but not before we get this horrible jump scare, one more, in the fire. Honestly, this fortune-telling scene could have been halfway decent if it wasn't for that horrible jump scare. Anyway, Christine and Justin Long go home and that night she starts hearing noises around her house. And guess what? She gets jump scared by the wind, cutlery, and finally, shadow goats. And while she's trying to sleep, wouldn't you know it, she's woken up by another jump scare, who looks exactly like the gypsy lady's demonic twin. This jump scare is really disgusting because there's a lot of puke and there's a lot of worms. And anyway, Christine wakes up and boom, it's all just a dream. So yay, lazy writing, woo. The next day at work, Christine isn't feeling so good. First, she flips out at her co-worker and then she projectile vomits a fountain of blood from her mouth for another jump scare. And now she's trying to find the old lady and fix things, but it turns out the old lady is now dead. But that doesn't mean she's done. Lady Halitosis comes back for one more jump scare and pukes formaldehyde or some green shit into Christine's mouth. And this part, yeah, it's very tasteful. If you just had your lunch, you better believe that's gonna come up along with whatever else that you had that morning. Anyway, Christine goes back to Psychic Dilip, who tells her she's got to sacrifice an animal to stop the Lamia now. Oh, by the way, the Lamia is apparently the name of the demon goat that's haunting Christine. And she's like, no, I love animals. Bitch, this guy just told you a demon goat wants to drag you to hell and you're cribbing about killing a small animal? I would go out and murder every small animal I found if my life was at risk like this. Maybe I shouldn't put that in the video. So, Christine goes home. And what's waiting at home for her? More jump scares! So she tries to call Justin for help and wouldn't you know it, he doesn't answer the phone. And then we get another jump scare from her phone this time. Yeah, that's right. And this one's literally a clip of the gypsy lady in her demon makeup, followed really quickly by the demon goat himself, who finally decides to make an appearance. And yeah, this guy is one ugly mother. Never mind. And then Christine kills her cat. She kills her cat. She straight up stabs her cat to death off screen, fortunately. Like, no ritual, nothing, none of those proper sacrifice things she was supposed to do. I think she didn't read the notes and she just thought she had to murder some small animal, which clearly wasn't the case. Anyway, she straight up stabs it to death. So now Christine and her boyfriend are visiting his family for dinner, and his mom is an absolute bitch. Like, look at this expression. Literally, all Christine is doing is trying to get along and get them to like her. And Justin's mom is like, like, bitch, don't even. So these folks are having the most awkward dinner ever, while an eye just pops up on Christine's plate for another jump scare, and then the goat demon starts to fuck with her. So she's obviously like, fuck this shit! So she loses the promotion she was fighting for. Psychic Dilip tells her he needs $10,000 to help her. So while Christine is putting all her stuff in a box to probably sell for, the $10,000, she and we are treated to this horrifying jump scare, which is probably the only effective jump scare in this whole damn movie. The demon lady is back for round 2, and Christine handles it by dropping a fucking anvil on her head. And then this happens. But either way, goddamn Christine, good job. Good job. So after some more BS filler talk between Justin Long and Christine, she decides to go to another exorcist/psychic. And guess who it is? Yes, it's the old Mexican exorcist from the beginning of the movie. So anyway, Mexican Lin Shaye sits down with Christine to do the exorcism, and then we get a second goat scream jump scare in this damn movie. I mean, listen to the sound. What the fuck kind of goat makes a sound like that? That's not a real goat. That's fake goat. That's like faux goat. Is that a real thing? Whatever, doesn't matter. Shit starts going completely haywire during the seance, and we get our first seance jump scare with a very basic, generic ass looking ghost which looks like a Victorian lady. And then there's more apparitions and sounds, and before you know it, Mexican Lin Shaye is possessed by a jump scare. And then after some truly atrocious acting from Mexican Lin Shaye, it happens, guys. There's a fucking possessed goat talking. And I don't know if this was meant to be scary, but it's fucking hilarious. And then it gets even funnier. It possesses the other guy, the unnamed extra, who I'm going to just call Jose, and does this. Was this movie even supposed to be a horror movie? Anyway, in the middle of all of this, they managed to toss in another jump scare with Jose screaming in Christine's face. Then Lamia Jose pukes up a cat, and there's a bunch more dancing, and eventually Mexican Lin Shaye gets rid of the Lamia, but then she dies too. And then you think, yeah, maybe it's over, but no. Dilip says, no, that didn't happen. The woman actually just drove the Lamia away from the seance, but didn't get rid of the curse. And so Christine is more or less, to put it politely, screwed. So now Christine has to pass on the cursed object, which she got from the gypsy lady, which was her button. She has to pass it on to someone else to pass the curse on. So while she's wondering how to do this, we get our next jump scare at 1 hour and 20 minutes with the old gypsy lady popping out in front of the screen and going like, ah! Yeah, this movie is riddled with horrible jump scares. I don't even know why I watched this movie. Anyway, at this point, remember, Christine has to give the button to someone, anyone. And who does she pick first? She goes out to a restaurant and she sees a guy who's got terminal illness, some form of terminal illness, and she's like, let's give it to this guy. You know what? He hasn't suffered enough in life. Let's make sure he suffers long enough in hell as well after he's dead. So, that's good on my conscience, apparently. Anyway, so Christine decides she can't do that because the old guy's got a wife. But she calls her unpleasant colleague, Stu. And Stu is still very unpleasant, and she tries to give the button to him, but then she realizes she's too good a person and she can't do it. And she's like, no, you know what? I won't give the button to this guy. So now she wants to gift it to the dead gypsy lady who cursed her in the first place. Christine just pulled the Uno reverse card, motherfucker. But not before the handkerchief returns for another jump scare. And then another jump scare. Good lord, this handkerchief is scarier than anything else in this movie. And this time it's trying to suffocate her to death. Okay, I guess. So Christine kills the handkerchief and does some casual breaking and entering into the gypsy lady's grave. And she's gonna try and give the button back to the dead lady when she's stopped by physics. The corpse doesn't want to go down without a fight, but at this point, Christine's had enough. And in a decidedly cool moment, Christine forces the button into the corpse's mouth and kicks it shut. But not for long, because the corpse returns for round 2, looking kinda alive. But Christine does not have any of that, and she crawls her way out of the grave, and she has literally fought for her life, and now she's alive and she's happy. And then we get a next scene, which is early morning. Christine's fine, everything is happy. She's planning a trip with her boyfriend Justin Long. Her awful colleague got fired. She's got the job she wanted, and now she's happy and she's glowing. That's it, right? The movie is over, right? Of course it's over. Not. So Christine and Justin are about to go on a trip, and everything is happy when Justin pulls out the button from her pocket, the one that she was supposed to gift to the old gypsy lady. And turns out Christine took the wrong envelope with the button in it. And as she's slowly realizing this and backing away from the realization, she falls onto the train tracks, and a train is rushing towards her. When the ground splits open, there's hellfire, there's flames. Hands reach up, grab Christine, and drag her to hell. Yeah, anyway, so Christine gets dragged to hell, the movie gets done, and that's about it. And how many jump scares does this movie have? So yes, over the duration of its 1 hour 38 runtime, Drag Me to Hell has 26 jump scares at least. The most effective was the one with the anvil dropping, and the least effective was the one with the generic ass ghost before the seance. So what did you guys think of this series? If you want to watch more movies like this being reviewed with jump scare counters, drop them in the comments below. I also stream on Twitch, and I make other content on YouTube. If you like any of it, please feel free to subscribe and let me know what you thought about this video. I really appreciate the feedback. And if you have any other suggestions, please feel free to drop them in the comments, and I'll be happy to take them up and look into them. And till next time, see you guys, stay safe, and adios.